Hello everyone, Annie, bonsoir, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Dr. Nadia Mikicek. I'm Executive Director of the Goodman School of Mines here at Laurentian University. And I'm so excited, after a long hiatus, that we are back with the Goodman School of Mines lecture series. So before we begin and introduce our distinguished lecturer, I would like to introduce our wonderful new President and Vice Chancellor, Dr. Lynn Wells, to get us started in a good way.
Oh, good evening, everybody. Bonsoir. What a pleasure to be with you tonight. Thank you for being here. Welcome to Laurentian University. Vous êtes les bienvenus ici à la Laurentienne. As Nadia said, this is a great occasion because it marks the return of this public lecture series, but more generally public lectures. So more to come, but what a wonderful way to start. As we always do at Laurentian, we want to make sure that we are acknowledging the territory on which we are at the moment. So we would like to acknowledge the Robinson-Huron Treaty of 1850. And of course, we also recognize that Laurentian University is located on the traditional lands of the Atikamekw-Anishinaabeg, and that the city of Greater Sudbury also includes the traditional lands of the Wahnapitae First Nation. Nous tenons à exprimer notre profond respect à tous les peuples autochtones et comme signe de notre relation suivie avec eux, appuierons les recommandations émises par le groupe du travail sur la vérité et la réconciliation de l'Université Laurentienne, Miigwech. So I am delighted to be here to welcome Dr. Doris Hiam-Galvez to our campus. Thank you so much for having you come here. We're honored to have you come and share your expertise with our students, our faculty, with members of the community who have come. We know that your experience will undoubtedly enrich everyone here this evening. So I really look forward to hearing what you are going to say, but I also want to just take this moment to acknowledge the students who will be recognized later. Very excited to have them with us. So with that, I will hand back to Nadia. Thanks again so much for coming.
Thank you, Lynn. And I'd also like to give a shout out to another new face in our Laurentian community, our new provost, Dr. Malcolm Campbell, and of course, our steadfast leader, Dr. Tammy Eager, VP Research. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. So this evening, myself and my awesome team that have worked hard to bring this back to life are so excited to have someone as inspiring and such a thinker as Doris. And I'll introduce her more fulsome in a moment, but I would like to mention that our effort at the Goodman School of Mines is really to train students across the entire mining life cycle. It is not simply about training the next engineer or the next ground control person or the next geoscientist. It really is about connecting the skills that are needed for the mining industry of the future. And so we're really happy that there are students among us now, and I think you'll all be very inspired by the transformational ideas that someone like Doris brings to us this evening. In addition to the work that the Goodman School of Mines does in training and experiential learning, we also support students through scholarships. So we're very excited that with the generous support of Hatch this evening, we will be awarding 6 scholarships to engineering students in 3 different disciplines this evening, and we'll be doing that after the lecture. So I'd now like to tell you a little bit more about our distinguished lecturer. Dr. Doris Hiam-Galvez is a senior advisor at Hatch Consulting, board director at the Prospector Developers Association of Canada, or PDAC, as we colloquially call it, an outspoken champion of sustainable development. She has a PhD in metallurgy with broad senior level experience in leading organizations and driving significant expansion globally with a focus on value creation. For the past 16 years, her activities at Hatch involved leading regional operations in creating new and innovative businesses in Australia, South America, Europe, North America. Inspired by her work with global investors facing sustainability challenges, she developed Designing Sustainable Prosperity, or DSP, a method to create resilient and sustainable regions. Her contribution to DSP has earned her the prestigious CIM Distinguished Lecturer Award. Her book on DSP method was recently published, by Wiley, and we will be awarding a signed copy to the most engaging student in the Q&A session afterwards, so look out for that. So we hope that today's event provides some valuable insights and fuels your passion for the industry. With that, I'm happy to invite Doris to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadia, for this kind introduction and for having me here today. Good evening. Wow, everybody's awake. Mining is often perceived as harmful to the environment. What if we turn this perception on its head? Imagine mining as catalyst for positive change, leaving ecosystems healthier and more resilient. Picture thriving regions that continue long after mine has ceased operating. I believe we can create prosperity while protecting the environment and improving the quality of life of the local communities. Today, I will share a vision, one where mining becomes a catalyst for vibrant, thriving regions. And this vision is encapsulated on designing sustainable prosperity. It's a method and process to enable the creation of resilient and sustainable regions. I've walked this journey and it's taking me a long time to discover what I'm going to share with you today. Running company operations around the world, I witness the contrast between wealth and poverty. Evidence that whatever we are doing is not working. And we keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results. What's that called? So it's taking me a long time, as I said, 15 years, to develop and implement a new way to achieve development and sustainability, both crucial for the future. And I will share what I learned in that journey. First, I should say thank you to CIM, although Nadia did. Thank you. So we will design sustainable prosperity is a mouthful, so I'm going to just say DSP, if that's okay. It's the only three-letter acronym I'll use, DSP. So includes a scientific approach and a societal transformation. Because no matter how brilliant ideas we have or technologies, nothing is going to happen if people aren't open to it, willing to collaborate, to run with it and become unstoppable. And I'll give you a taste of it. So you're going to experience some interesting stuff today. Hopefully you're ready. So as we go through the lecture, we will do that. Also, we'll review some case studies, and we're going to spend a few minutes figuring out what could be the future of Sudbury. But before we dive in, I would like to bring you in. So let's transition from wherever your attention might have been into here and now. Just be aware of the sounds you hear. Feel the rhythm of your breath. Feel the weight of your body fully supported on the chair and getting heavier and heavier. And your feet fully supported by this beautiful land of Sudbury. And connect with who you are when you're really strong, when you're an inspiring leader, when you're solving a complex problem, or when you're just excelling to an activity that you're passionate about. So what do you feel? Hold on that feeling and bring that energy to the present. Now that we are in the present and strong, we can go through that door and explore possibilities for Sudbury and other regions together. Because I would like to really be together and speak to you. The reason I did that, because you could be sitting here, but we're not really here. So I invite you to do this whenever you are going to speak to an audience or to anyone, so that there is room for everyone to thrive. So the challenges that natural resource-rich regions are faced are, as we all know, climate change. In many cases, one commodity economy and a skill shortage. DSP tackles this challenge in a holistic approach for system-wide solutions, unlocking untapped potential, but also it pioneers innovative solutions for the regions and position them as leaders in the knowledge economy. Also, it pioneers solutions to diversify the regional economy. And once we know what's possible in the region, the education system is adapted to provide the skills and tools needed to support the diverse economy. So there is a focus, first, to tackle climate change, innovative solutions to compete in the world market, and then adapt education. So we are looking for focus in order to be sustainable in the future. Have you ever wondered what happens to a mind when it reaches the end of its life? What happens? Sorry? And then? Yes? Yes. So economy activity stops, jobs disappear, people leave the region. Familiar? So in this slide, the economic activity of the region is represented in the vertical axis and time in the horizontal. The red curve represents the vulnerability of the economy of the resource extraction. So the economy increases during the operations, followed by a decline when the resources are depleted. The yellow curve represents all the services that come to support the mining industry, contractors of all kinds, and follows the same trend. But what we aim for is the green curve. A level of economic activity that can be sustained and a stable level of economic activity ideal for the region that continues beyond the life of the mine. And it is catalyzed by the mine. So the big shift here is moving from mine-centric mindset into the regional prosperity. So the priority becomes the regional prosperity, and mining acts as a catalyst, as an enabler. And this changed the image of mining from being in a position of conflict, of contention, into being a force for good. It's more welcoming to mining because the intention is the prosperity of the region for the future. So everybody works for the common good, and therefore there should be less room for conflict. Now, this is seen through a project. This is a large copper project that could take from exploration to production possibly 30 years. So ideally, we want to implement DSP early, before any projects begin. But it's also beneficial at any stage of the project. So starting DSP early, as you can see here, allows for a deep understanding of the ecosystem of the region and collaborating with key stakeholders to explore all the possible opportunities, setting the standards of sustainability for future projects. This approach not only allows for projects to flow smoothly, but also, again, change the image of mining, the negative image of mining, and creates an environment more welcoming for further investment. How we do it? So it's a facilitated process of co-creation. It's not something I will take the data, go to my desk and design, like we do a mechanical design or electrical or any other project. This is a facilitated process of co-creation with the key players, the ones who have vested interest in the future of the region. So it starts understanding the full potential of the region in terms of natural resources and human potential. We use geoscience to unearth, to visualize the hidden potential of natural resources and connection to nature for the human potential. So we try to capture the essence of the region. And then the planning process is co-created, as I said, based on the natural resources available in the region, water needs, energy needs, infrastructure needs, and repurposing waste if waste is generated. And the results are attractive packages to attract the investors, business cases, and roadmaps. So this is an example of an integrated natural resource model. So this is the unique use of geoscience for decisions, not only for determining if a deposit has economic benefit, but rather DSP advocates for the use of geoscience in every decision on society. So geoscience of subsurface to understand the potential of new sources of water, groundwater, what's the situation of our ground reservoirs, new sources of energy, storage potential, and even soil quality with trace elements. So it's really to unearth, to visualize the hidden potential. Even to build transmission lines could be interference if you don't understand the characteristics of the subsurface. So for determining where should be built cities or protected environments or anything, understand where we stand on, how the earth was formed in our region, and therefore what's possible. I was born a geoscientist. I was riding in the back of a horse as a child, collecting rocks. I have rooms full of rocks. I was captivated by their beauty and the stories they tell. It's like a book. And all the rocks of a region is like a library with fascinating stories that tells how the Earth was formed in our region. So we're going to do some case studies. And again, before I get into this, we'll review 3 case studies, and then we were going to spend a little bit of time in Sudbury. Anyone can recognize this country? Why is red?
Right now it's because there's a forest, Amazon forest, it's a lot of fires right now.
In Peru?
Yes.
Really? Oh, God.
I am from Peru.
Me too. I didn't know. The reason we're joking because there's a... No, we should not talk about politics. Okay. So that's good enough. Fire is good enough. So the south of Peru economy depends nearly 100% on copper mining and smelting. What is the economy of Sudbury? Mainly 100% mining and mainly nickel. Here is a desert though. So it's 100% copper and there's no water. There's water scarcity. Of course, they are building desalination plants in all these regions north of Chile and south of Peru, but they are using the current technology, reverse osmosis. You have to push the water through membranes, so it needs a lot of fuel and it's costly and it's not sustainable. There's 20,000 plants of those, but it's not sustainable. So here we are looking at totally different solutions. So no water, huge potential in solar energy. As you can see the map over there, the solar irradiation potential in Canada is not the best, but still profitable solar energy in Canada, even in the Arctic. Of course, replacing diesel, comparing with diesel. So it's not the best, but as you go down, it gets better and better until the best of all is that region. So they are burning in the sun, and they also have geothermal energy. It's a volcanic region. So what we thought, and they also have one unique skills. Peruvians are really good at making things work, anything. And you know, they'll run a car, an old car, they will put a gas tank together to run, even if it's dangerous as anything. And then strings and tie whatever, and then run with the car. So they're really very good at solving problems, I guess. But in this particular region, they're really good at solving complex thermal processes from the nearby smelters. They are really good at that. But they are technology buyers. They buy the technology, use it, make it work, but that's it. And most of the world is similar. So the opportunity we see here, solar energy, geothermal, no water, and unique skills on thermal processes. So the opportunity was to use the direct desalination of seawater with solar energy, a thermal process. And it's quite complicated, and it requires, this is a new technology that's been piloted in the desert. It's like it's just heating a dome and boiling the water. It's like a big kettle, and then distill and separate the water from the brine and and recover all the salts from the brine, so there's no waste. But this technology needs to be made economically viable. So it's a great opportunity for these people who know how to do those things to adapt to their region, make it economically viable, and become the center of excellence of making these complex things work. And by doing so, as you can see here, the system, so the copper enables the solution of the energy to solve the water issue and open the door for agriculture, but not just agriculture, but value-added products because it is a fertile soil, it only needs water. Just to give you an idea of one example, probably similar to Sudbury. So how many are familiar with the Ring of Fire? Controversial, isn't it? Shall we talk about it or not? The Ring of Fire. I guess mineral wealth, but it's a thriving ecosystem on top of this mineral wealth. What is the thriving ecosystem? What is it? Does anybody knows? What's on top of all these chromites and all these minerals? Is something more important than that on top of it. So, peatlands. So it looks like Canada's peatlands encompass nearly half of the world's wetlands. It's like maybe nearly one of the lungs of the world. So these are incredible ecosystems that play a key role in keeping the planet cool. So they can take 30 times its weight in water. I think they capture maybe around 60% of Canada carbon in soils. They play a key role in water retention, purification, fire retention, flood mitigation, and biodiversity production. So they are incredible systems. They look like mattresses, but they are pipelines, millions of pipelines, where it's just waterworks going on. And it's so interesting for us to get interested in Canada, because most of Canada north, I think, is wetlands, especially Ontario, Quebec, and Manitoba, and all of these regions. And these are, so what we thought is, whatever you do to those peatlands, if you're not careful, they become powerful carbon emitters, methane. But no matter what you do, you'll disturb them. So we thought, how can you get to this impasse, keep the integrity of these peatlands, but still do mining? So I believe if the priority is keep the peatlands healthy, you could do mining as less intrusive as possible, with minimum impact as possible, maybe all underground, remote, whichever way, but do both. But then come with the idea of the peatlands' health. That's the priority, and the mining will be an enabler to achieve that. So what we came up with was peatland regeneration. But the knowledge economy, it could be peatland hydrology, which is crucial for peatland stability, which is key for regeneration. So these days you can build business cases, get financing to preserve these ecosystems, lakes, forests, and so on. And that could be the ideal economy for this region. So when we are doing design and sustainable prosperity, we are not doing industrial revolution. We are not doing anything like in the past. It's a green way for a green future, and it's different for each region. Like you have seen, we look at south of Peru, it's totally different. Here it's totally different. And there's also indigenous nations around. It's really rural, this region. And we could use the storytelling to bring sort of a mindset of regeneration for anybody who comes near this, I guess, so important peatlands. Because sometimes we humans go to nature and we maybe destroy some things, but rather come in with regeneration in mind and change the storytelling, all the narrative to have. Everybody who comes in comes with a mind of regeneration. So that's the Ring of Fire, and that's the system. So the mineral beneath the peatlands unlocks the preservation of the peatlands in terms of regeneration, and then preserve the carbon sink capabilities and also the knowledge of technologies of carbon sink. And again, use storytelling to add to the story and the knowledge economy, peatland hydrology. Quebec. Who is from Quebec here? Wow. So we have done semi-rural in Peru. We have done really rural in the Ring of Fire, and now this is, Quebec is rural? I get in trouble. So Quebec. So Quebec is a hydropower powerhouse. But as they go in the goal of decarbonizing by 2050, they are going to run out of clean energy if they replace all diesel and oil and gas. And to build a new hydropower plant, it takes 20 years. So there's no time. So what could they do? So we thought, you have hydropower. As I said before, solar energy is also profitable in Canada. So introduce variable renewable energy, solar and wind. But they are strong in aluminum production, and they know about electrolysis. Electrolysis can be used also to produce hydrogen from water, even probably with the same equipment. So you will use the hydrogen, because you're introducing variability, so use the hydrogen to match that variability. So the objective is to a stable supply to the grid. So of course, many nations are doing that, but the secret here is how to keep the generation and the use optimized, so that you have a stable supply to the grid. And for that, you need optimizing gadgets, the knowledge of how to manage those reservoirs and the whole system. And that would be the know-how to hone in this region and export to the world. So first, they fix the energy issue to meet their decarbonization goals, but also create another pillar for the future economy and facilitate and open for other industries to come. So you see that we work with ESP in non-obvious solutions, but we are honing in the knowledge economy. Because in Canada, in many cases, we play the cheap game. It's not sustainable. We are bright, incredibly educated workforce, so it's the knowledge economy. We are expensive, and we have to figure out the most innovative way to compete in the world market. Okay, so now I want to speak a little bit about the societal transformation, and I'm going to give you a taste of it, so be ready. We discuss first, we build the design basis, which is the potential of natural resources and the human potential. Then we go into the design. To do the design, we follow 7 steps. And the first 2 steps is to prepare each individual and the team to think differently, to co-create the future. We cannot create the future with the same thinking we have today, or with the same thinking we created the past. And then only once the team is prepared, we go into the design. So the first step is nearly whole day intensive, is just practicing an immersive experience to think differently. And I will talk a little bit more about how we do that, because we're going to do it. So at the end of the day, you'll be thinking differently. And then, so that learning is taken to the second step, to do the same for the region. Because you can't go very far if you say, I'm not good at this, I've never done this, and I've never done that, therefore I can't. And the same, the region. We tried this before, we tried this, and never worked. So take that capability of thinking differently to the region in the second step, and to create a bold vision for the region. Because we are trying to take people way beyond their reference points. Because, again, we are trying to compete in the world market and have a knowledge economy. It requires a high level of innovation and has to come from within. So DSP is all from inside out. It's not telling them what to do, it's not filling them in information, it's to get it out from inside. Because everybody, we have our genius that may be not so alive. So it's to unleash the innate genius so that they can co-create from the position of strength. And the reason I brought you connected to your strength at the very beginning. So everything I'm doing, it has a purpose. And then once you've been dreaming about yourself and dreaming about the region, and then only we review the design basis, the potential, the integrated natural resource models, and so on. And then when we see that our dreams were not too far from the reality, a breakthrough occurs. And that's when the juicy ideas come. And that's only we can co-create the future of the region. And because that's what you'll be surprised. I tried in many groups, and even the most cynical, they really become constructive. And then you're surprised with everyone's ideas. I'm going to put it together. Wow. To tackle the issues we are dealing today, we need truly innovative ideas. And most of us, we're playing safe. So once you figure out the specific services, technologies, or products ideally suited to a region, then we prioritize with UN SDG indicators. How many are familiar with the UN SDGs? The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. I invite you to look at them. They're complicated, but so we're working with the University of Calgary to use the indicators to prioritize projects so that we can evaluate the impact, regional impact and the global impact in all the 17 goals. So then we see the path of highest impact is clear. Then adapt the education to provide skills and tools for that diverse economy. And then sustain the momentum, creating an environment to live in the ever-emerging edge of creative possibilities. So we're really creating an innovation hub in every region with the key players. Okay, so what do you see there? What do you see? Faces. Faces? Really? Sure. What else do you see there? How many faces you see? How many see 5? Raise your hands if you see 5. How many see 10? Wow. How many see 20? 20. Good. How many see 30? I think it's about 40 faces. But the key thing here is whatever we see is not what it is. So we are like meaning-making machines, and we make meaning based on our lived experiences and needs. And it looks like we are programmed to see things in a certain way. And so just wanted to show you how to, first to show you that whatever we see is not what it is. We see whatever we want to see in anything. So we have control. So transformation occurs, this is the process of transformation. So first is live in an environment or create in awe and wonder. What is awe and wonder? What is it? Yeah, now this is the most important thing I would like to retain from this lecture. We look for awe and wonder. We look for amazing stuff. We look for something beautiful. We look for something in the future that's going to make us happy. We look for awe and wonder. But the key is to see the awe and wonder, see the amazing in everything we do, in the common. See the extraordinary in the ordinary. See the impossible in the possible. See the unseen. Once you see the unseen, you can never unsee it. So it's for us, when we are born, we see extraordinary in the ordinary all the time as children. Then something happens to us, and we forget to see that. So we have to go back to that. So that's the way to, it's just, we have a human intelligence, like artificial intelligence. It's only as good as the information we put in. But in many cases, we don't upgrade our operating system. That works with certain algorithms for us to validate the way we see things, to be over and over again, and we get entangled and suffer for no reason, because nobody else is seeing that way. So it's seeing the extraordinary and the ordinary in everything we do, in everyone, in every circumstance. And then we can train our brain to reset, upgrade, and see things differently. Very easy. So I invite you to practice that from this moment, and you will see your life will be extraordinary in few minutes. So see the extraordinary and the ordinary, and then act. Give yourself permission to try, to dare, to fail. Try new things. And that's the way we transform and grow. To really develop innovative ideas, we have to be comfortable with uncertainty. Our brains are designed to thrive in uncertainty, and that's when we can do best. So that's the process of transformation, and I would like to invite, if you could stand up for a minute all together, and then just do these, and then when it hurts, your arm hurts, you can sit down. See how long you can do this. So keep doing this. If it hurts, sit down. Now start thinking, who or what does this for years without stopping? Keep thinking. There's something or someone that does this for years and years without stopping. What is that? Or who is that? Sorry? Yes, absolutely. So that's seeing the extraordinary in the ordinary. Okay. So now you go. Now, can I invite somebody to come here with me? I won't hurt you. Can someone come here with me? Please come. You still, come. Since you go the hard, that's. You're still doing it. Can you walk from there to there? Just walk from there and keep walking. Okay, just walk there and then walk back. What is moving from there to here and from here to there? What's moving there? What is moving? Sorry?
Total body. The whole totality of it.
But what is that? What is him? Are you sure? See the extraordinary in the ordinary. Human is ordinary, but what is in here? What's moving so well, so uniform, without falling apart? Sorry?
Trillions of cells.
Absolutely. You see, another example. Trillions of cells. What else? What other extraordinary is moving from here and there? Keep moving. Sorry? So what we are is not what we are, right? It's an illusion. So what are we? Blobs of energy pulsating, but beautifully pulsating. So see the extraordinary. And next time we can do the lungs, the liver, but for now, this is good enough. Thank you. Thank you. So very simple way to think differently, to upgrade our operating system and to transform ourselves. So you can train your brain to see the extraordinary in everything you deal with. A problem. What's the extraordinary about this problem? Actually, we learn more when things do not. How many people get really delighted when things do not work? Yes, wonderful. So this is really wonderful here. Yes, because we learn so much when things do not work. We learn better. By the way, we are really good at failing because that's all we do every day. So be delighted when things do not work because we can be propelled to higher levels. And because whatever is happening, failure or success is not happening to us. It's just happening. It's just how we look at it. So, see the extraordinary and the ordinary, and your life will be extraordinary. So, what's unique about DSP? I guess I'll get volunteers. Can you read the first one? You read the first one? Louder?
Integrates all this.
And the second?
Scientific and people.
And the third one?
Three parties co-create the future.
Geoscience is key. Knowledge economy. Environmental UN SDGs. Education.
So I think we talk enough about that. I just wanted to get other voices here. See the extraordinary and the ordinary. So the objective here is to build resilient and sustainable regions in the resource-rich regions or anywhere. So that there's job creation, health and security, and so on. So that mining is welcome and the investment attraction is enhanced. Because we can do both development and sustainability, both crucial for our future. And together, we can create a bright future. And you see there's a mother looking at us with a baby because we want a better future for future generations. Do you know what animal is that? Sorry? Yeah. Where do they live? Yeah, no. You guys are so pros. Usually nobody gets these things. So all these thoughts and every technique I share is in the book. And you can find it in Amazon or Wiley. And you can win here, but we will get there in a minute. So the world is in our hands. So I invite you to question every assumptions, be the change. And together we can make this world brighter. I haven't finished yet. The last thing, cultivate insatiable curiosity and see the extraordinary in the ordinary, and your life will be extraordinary. Thank you.
Thank you, Doris, for those inspirational ideas and forcing us to actually break out of our comfort zones, even in how we think and question everything. We now have time for questions, and we have 2 microphones here, and we have 2 books. We were going to give out one, but Doris has kindly given us 2 signed books, Designing Sustainable Prosperity, which I believe the criteria is the most engaged student that will get up out of their seat and ask questions. We will be handing out these 2 books. So I invite people to come up to the microphones and have Doris answer those questions. No pressure. You're welcome to also ask a question.
Retired
Yes.
professor. Okay. Yeah, lifelong learner. And, okay, so I was wondering if you could say more about peatland hydrology and carbon development. That's my first question. If you could say more about that.
Okay, let's hear not all questions. I can answer them all together.
Okay.
So, could you share a project that you worked on that you really loved and why you really loved that project?
Wow, that's a difficult question. I don't love any project. I love everything I do. That's the easy one.
And my second one was, when you put up the chart with all of the things and the other boxes underneath, you did that quickly, so I think it was integrated natural resource models, and I couldn't read any of the stuff underneath. Maybe the younger people here could, but I just wonder if you could put that back up just so I could see what that was.
Which was that one?
I think it was your framework slide, Doris.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't read any of the stuff on the bottom. I wondered if you could, like you mentioned the ones, you got designing,
Okay.
and the ones underneath, but not below that. I can't see them at all.
Okay, this is the method. First, the design basis, the potential, natural resources, and human. And then the design, this is natural resources, based on the potential of natural resource. Here is mineral, forestry, nutrients. The needs for water, and here is surface, subsurface, energy, renewable, and storage, and infrastructure, transport, networks, and waste, value-added products from that. And here is the future. So you design the future pillars of the knowledge economy for the region, and those are specific services, products, and technologies. Is that? And then you want me to talk a little bit more about peatlands, hydrology. Why hydrology? Because, again, I'm not a peatland hydrologist, but I can get in trouble with that. Because I see myself, the peatlands, as millions of pipelines. Because how can they hold 30 times its weight in water? And they capture 3 times more carbon than a boreal and a tropical forest. These are like mattresses, but it's all about water. And then, therefore, because they really manage the water. They retain water, they manage the water, they store the water, and through that process, do all the other capabilities of carbon sink, but also flood mitigation, water purification, fire retardation. It's just incredible. So that's extraordinary in the ordinary. This is like pile of peat, right? all that's in there is amazing. Is that answer your question? Sure. There's no right answer, but this is what I was interested in. But we should, all Canadians, study the peatlands. We will get inspired for many other things. Other questions?
Doris, we had that question from the student about one of the key projects, your favorite project that you've worked on.
What projects? I really love every project. I'm just a happy person, you know. I'm delighted when I get excited when things do not work. I get excited when I work on a project. I get excited about everything, so I'm so happy to be here. So just love life. Yes.
Hi, so first of all, thank you very much for that presentation. That was very inspirational. I guess my question for you today, as students, what can we do kind of on a daily basis to promote that idea of sustainable prosperity? And how can we, kind of try to transform society's perception of mining?
What do you think?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I do feel better equipped after listening to this lecture today, but
so what's emerging from you after this? Because
yeah, I feel like the big idea will be to try to talk to people maybe outside of my own viewpoint. I talk to a lot of mining people, a lot of engineers, so maybe try to branch out and talk to other communities.
What do the other students think? What can you do? I give you the key. Will you open the door? I think it starts with us. Because, we have this genius inside. It takes one person to change the world. It takes one person to, reduce the greenhouse gases or the climate, the warming of the environment. But for that, I think the planet doesn't need any more worry or frustration or blame or guilt or anything, but action. So we can all come out and do something extraordinary by doing what?
In the ordinary?
Yes, yes. Yes, because we are locking ourselves by staying with our outdated programs. And we stay in the, I will just give you a quick example. For example, we have a belief that I am not seen, and therefore I do everything to not be seen. I hide, but I don't see it. So when you see the unseen, you can never unsee it. So whenever people ask me to please greet these people or introduce this subject here or give us a little talk, no, I'm busy. So, but we don't realize, and we think the world is so mean because they don't see me. I can see everyone, but nobody sees me. But then when you see how you do it yourself, create the environment for not being to hide, then you get angry at it, and then you shift. Then you start doing different. You start saying, okay, I'll take baby steps, I'll say hi this time, I'll do this time. And then you end up being totally open to be visible.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the question.
Hello, Doris. Wonderful talk. Thank you very much for this wonderful, lovely talk. So I have a question for you with respect to some of the cynicism that you might, or people might encounter in their lives. So do you have any tips in particular of how you as a positive person can spark some inspiration in others to not be less resistant to your new ideas, let's just, so to speak, yeah.
I don't think.
Oh, so it's in the sense of when you're trying, when you yourself have positive ideas and then you encounter others who may not have the same viewpoint, more abstract, I guess. Just wondering if you have tips in how you may be able to have strategies to try to create a positive effect or have an impact on them, and so that they might be more inclined to your ideas.
Okay. Where is the person who asked the previous question? Where is she? Can you take that question? Because I...
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I had trouble understanding, but I thought it was the positive, how to create the positive.
Yeah, so kind of be the lightning rod to inspire change, I guess. So you know, when you're trying to be a positive change and you end up encountering some resistance, so still like, you know, maintaining that spark.
So if you encounter resistance, just smile, enjoy it. I love, you know, for me, I love resistance.
Yeah.
And because I'm a transformation leader.
Mm-hmm.
So I lived my life knowing that half of the people love me and half of the people hate me. And it's fine, because if I'm a disruptor, I'm doing it myself.
Yeah, that's right.
And therefore, but it's not to me, it's not happening, so I don't take anything personal. So
Fair
again,
enough.
life is happening, but it's not happening to me, it's happening for me.
Right.
So I can learn. Life is just learning. We're just students forever, and life never gets better, as today is the best.
Awesome.
This second is the best. So it's up to us. But again, see the extraordinary in the
Learn,
ordinary.
yeah, see this extraordinary in the ordinary. Thank you so much.
Now you be answering all the questions.
So I just want to understand your presentations in a simple manner. That is that you are trying to actually tell us, but whatever the Mother Nature is giving to us, this is in our surrounding, on the surface of the earth, not in the down to the earth, not in that space. If it is so, then why we are going in the deep in the, down to the earth for looking for a coil, oil, and all those things that's creating the carbon emissions and all this whole world disasters. The Mother Nature wants what we have in the resources, in availability on the ground that is good enough for us. Not need to go in the space, not need to go in the downstairs to collecting whatever that don't require for us. Whatever we have, that's good enough to survive in this world. Do you trying to say in this message? Or do you agree with this message? You got it?
I want to first see if I understood. So everything we need is on the earth, so we don't have to go to space.
Whatever resources, minerals, and energy, whatever we have in the surface of earth, like we easily can, the tree, water, what we have, that is good enough to survive in this world. Why the whole world is looking for going down to the earth, collecting oils, mining on those things. So better water, the general thing is that Mother Nature, what is give in front of us, that is good enough to survive this world. So do you trying to give us this message or agree with this message?
Yeah, let me see if I understand again. So first, it's on the earth, not go to space, but also I think you mentioned about seabed. Seabed. You know, I'm with you. There is plenty on earth to go to space or to go to the seabed because of, you know, there's wildlife, there's animal life there, and we don't know really.
Yeah.
Because we can't vacuum the sea floor
Yeah.
with detrimental effects. There are technologies now just to pick the nodules, but even who knows what the ecosystem, how the ecosystem works. But on the earth, going deep, so what I was talking about is going deep, have a very good understanding of the surface, how it was formed, because that impacts the surface.
Yeah.
And we don't do that today.
Right.
We only do geoscience to study the mineral systems and to find a commercial ore body. But I'm advocating for the use of geoscience for the planet, for the people, for prosperity, for every decision on society.
Yes.
So it's understanding, not necessarily digging the whole thing up.
I got my answer.
So
Thank you.
It's understand and to do for decisions on surface.
Yeah.
And then, because sustainability is, of course, do not rob from the future.
Yep.
Then we have to do it in a balanced way. So that's why we work in systems approach. First, understand the ecosystem. And then, but, you know, if we want to maintain the level of comfort we have today, we need materials.
Yeah.
So we have learned to live in a very sheltered way. We need to extract some materials. But my point is we can do both. We need the materials to support modern society, but at the same time we can do it in the most sustainable way.
Right. I understand. Thank you for the answer. I got it.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions? We have one, yes.
Hi, thank you for the wonderful presentation. I have basically two questions, but you answered one in the previous question you asked. So my first question was about deep sea mining. You presented a wonderful model about like regional development, but most of them focus on terrestrial mining. So how would that extend to deep sea mining? Like deep sea mining is evolving right now, and most of the countries lack mineral resources in terrestrially. They are focusing on deep sea mining. So
yeah, me personally, I don't think we're ready for deep sea mining. We don't know enough, and we've been talking for deep sea mining for ages, and it's not happening yet.
Yeah.
And I believe and also I just want to share this, the way we do mining and exploration, we need to reimagine how we do the whole thing. Okay. So we don't have to, for exploration, the way we do is there, how many exploration people are here? So you can bear with me. Sorry? So we can talk about them. So I just wanted to share what we are doing I'm working closely with Stanford University to reimagine exploration, but also to reimagine the whole system, from exploration to product. Because right now, because our education is silo, we all just know mining or just geology or just process or just something else. And we make our meaning-making machine to just that. And therefore, by doing so, we are destroying value. I believe in the future, everybody has to study geoscience to begin with and figure out how to better extract the value from the source rather than doing as we always done it. And in exploration right now, you know, we might find interesting ore body and make up a story and get some funding, drill where we think is something, and then make up another story and get some money, drill next to it, and so on. And maybe it's high risk, low return. So what we are doing anyway, that might be the extreme, so I don't want to criticize too much the way we do today. But the other way, so what we're looking at is science-based exploration. So first, build 10,000 models with the data, and then the model will tell you, put the human intelligence into artificial intelligence to speed things up, powerful computers, probability tools, and so on, in order to figure out where to drill first. And then, in real time, you feed the information into the model, and the model tells you where to drill next. So you are doing sequential drilling, so you need more funding for that. But what you're doing, expanding the range of exploration and going for the higher concentration, higher grade stuff. Because exploring safe, we haven't really explored the Earth. There is so much out there that we don't know. And it's so complex, so variable, we don't really know. So that's what we're trying to, because we need to accelerate the delivering of critical materials for the energy transition. And it takes us forever to, as you've seen, I shared the copper project 30 years. And then many people hide in permitting or hide on whatever reason. But if you do a project right, and if you do work together with the communities, do the SP from beginning, you build trust, so there should be less problems to get to accelerate the transformation.
Thank you. My second question is related to the Ring of Fire, which is like a hotly debated issue. So is mining a pristine environment such as the Ring of Fire for sustainable materials like chromite for electric vehicles and batteries really sustainable in the long run? Because we can't reverse the ill effects that we caused in the mining. So for such a sustained, pristine peatlands.
So the Ring of Fire, that's a controversial one.
Yeah.
That's a very difficult one. But I believe if we focus on the peatland first, we might do mining, but nearly hiding, right? It's really maybe underground, remote, who knows, innovate. But you can't just, disturb the peatlands massively and then build a road and do stuff. That's a very difficult one.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. Thank you.
Last question, Simon.
So it seems most of the presentation talks about doing things with intention, about being considerate about what the consequences are, being holistic in your perspective about the operation of it, and making the priority on what's there and the value of the peatlands or the natural environment. And it's seeing the extraordinary in the ordinary. But that doesn't seem to necessarily be persistent on a cultural level, on a societal level. And so how can there be, is there a simple, not necessarily simple, but a pinpoint of a social or political perspective that would really initiate that on a societal or an industry-wide level that would kind of take this and actually keep this as the standard?
Wow. That's a good question. Yes, because everything I shared, we are putting the conventional thinking on its head. And we are all living with our maybe not upgraded operating systems and safe within our silos. So it's very hard to do things differently. But I believe there is just a couple of things. I developed this method because in the natural resource-rich regions, we become complacent because the mines bring the jobs and there's wealth and nobody worries about the future. And they're not going to do it. Usually we do things in crisis. Like Japan, they had no natural resources, and guess what? They have no choice. They get all the natural resources from us because we are just complacent, and they sell us stuff with 100 times more expensive because we're just not worried about it. And we are not dying, we're not killing each other, so what? Why we change? But I believe the planet is pushing us because we've gone perhaps too far. And the pandemic got us thinking a little bit more, starting thinking maybe there's different ways of doing things. And my dream is to do all over Canada because it's safer than many other places, so that we can show how we can transition from our successful extractive industry during the boom and build our future from catalyzed by it. And the whole world can do the same. So the obstacles that we are complacent. But I'm determined to at least do few pilots. That's why I put the book together. I didn't have to, but at least put in the hands of everyone. And so, because people can just read the book and improve it, their own ideas, all the concepts are there. And we can help, but they can do on their own. They can make it better. And we're not holding any IP, Hatch or me, so they can just run with it, because it's just new field of study, new way of doing things. So that's one way, and the other one, the transformation one, I think we have to start with ourselves. We are extraordinary potential, and all starts with us. And so there's no point blaming anyone or feeling guilty. It's just train upgrade our operating system, start seeing things differently, and then little by little, we have more and more eagerness, more and more ideas on how to do. But it's just, one step at a time. The world is fine. It's just we have to change. Thank you.
Thank you, Doris. I think now we will leave it to you to decide how you want to give out the 2 signed copies that you've brought for us today.
So let's discuss for a minute.
I think those who asked questions and are students, please stand. I will also add those who were recently students and graduated or are soon to graduate can also stand. That's a bias that I have because I know who you are in the room, so perhaps you
why don't you do it?
We'll do it together.
Yeah.
Yes.
But to who?
Simon, I was calling you up.
How would you like to do this? So you giving this to Simon?
No, I was wanting you to decide.
What about the one who is standing in a pool?
Yes, the fellow that came up and
they
demonstrated
came walk and he got the heart and all of that. I'll give it to him. And then the lady, the girl.
And then the lady with the very...
Who was answering the questions.
Excellent. What next?
Because I didn't answer, you answer the question. You get the book.
I'm just going to change this, if I may.
Yes.
Thank you. Have a nice day, ma'am.
Very welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, we see the book?
Yeah.
Excellent. You can come down. Thank you very much.
Keep it going.
And Doris, before you leave the stage, I'd like to share something extraordinary. And we don't usually unwrap gifts that we give our distinguished lecturers. However, I would like to share that we went to one of our local Indigenous artists, Jessica Summers, and she only creates art or shares art when she understands what a person is all about. And Denise explained who you are in one sentence and said she is a visionary, a thinker, a wonderful person that inspires young minds. And Jessica, and I think you will all be like wowed by this. I'm gonna pull it out of the bag. She created this for you.
Wow.
And I think it's so perfect. Isn't it perfect?
She got my eyes.
It is.
It's
I think
so
it captures
beautiful.
your wisdom beautifully. And if it doesn't fit in your suitcase, we will ship it to you.
Oh, thank you.
Because we didn't think of that before.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you.
So don't leave the stage just yet, Doris. I'd like to add one more thing for this evening, and I think it's a wonderful opportunity, given that Doris has been with Hatch for such a long time, that we also invite our local Hatch representatives, and we have Josh Lilly, William Thompson, and Harsh Brambat to the stage, please. Do we have 2 of 3?
Yeah, one had a family emergency. So.
No problem. I'm very glad you were able to join us. So this evening, we'd also like to hand out, oh, and please, Dr. Ramesh Subramanian, who's a director of our Barty School of Engineering and Computer Science. We would like to acknowledge the very generous support of Hatch in supporting several student scholarships. So we have two sort of cohorts that we are handing out this evening. And each student will be receiving a $6,000 scholarship. And we've designated 3 engineering disciplines. So we have mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, and mining engineering students are represented. These students have the highest GPA going into their second year of study, and we hope that these awards and the lecture that you saw this evening is going to fuel you into really pushing your minds and expanding your own thinking as you pursue your careers in your fields. And of course, keep up that academic excellence because it helps you along the way, certainly. So I'm going to ask you to come up. I'm going to name each of you. If you could come, you'll get your certificate, and then please stand on stage so that we can take a group picture all together. Yes? Oh, Lynn, I am so sorry. I forgot the president. My apologies. I won't live that down easily, but I will say it's been a very long day, but here we are. We are all here. Thank you, Denise, for always keeping me in line. All right, so without further ado, first I'd like to have Andre Tran, who is in mechanical engineering, come up. You can shake everyone's hand. Shake everyone's hand. Now you know how it's done. The rest is easy. Next, we have R.J. Douglas, mechanical engineering. Next, we have Eli Smith, chemical engineering. They're your future colleagues and networks, so yes, build those partnerships now. Next, we have Martin Courchain, chemical engineering. Next, we have Barima Kai Ben, mining engineering. Fist bumps also count. Last but not least, Patrick Milner, mining engineering. So Denise is going to organize us slightly before we take a photo. Stagger the students between the designated, please.
Here.
Push down this way.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, right there. Keep going.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
We're going to go this way. Nadia, can you come?
Yes, I can, Denise. I can. Thank you, everyone. You're free to step down. This was wonderful. And a big thank you, of course, to Hatch for the generous sponsorship of these students. It really is, you think about the challenges of being a student today, the incredible cost of living. You know, it was a while, I think some of us here will say, oh, when I went to school, tuition was only $4,000 and the cost of living was so much cheaper. So these scholarships go a long way. So big thank you again to Hatch for your sponsorship, and I know our students appreciate it a great deal. I should have added the QR code here, but if you are keen on finding Doris's book, they do have it on Amazon. You can check out Wiley's website, and if you're astute, you will notice that there is a promo code here for 20% off on the title. So please take a picture. Sorry we didn't have a QR code for you. And last but not least, of course, I'd like to acknowledge Doris again for being one of our distinguished lecturers after a 3-year break, or four-year break since our last one. This is the 20th GSM lecture, and we archive all of this material, and you can find all of the lectures that we've had from many visionaries in the mining industry and mine service sector over the years. There is a wealth of knowledge and experience in those lectures, so we encourage you to go check out the website. The GSM lectures have their own page, and you can link and watch all of those previous lectures at your leisure. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out this evening. We hope to see you again. We've got a lot of different GSM activities coming up in the near future. And with that, please get home safely. Thank you. Good night. Miigwech.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doris. That was wonderful.
Thank you.